Greetings, programs. Welcome to the Rune Space. It's no exaggeration when I say I've been an artist my entire life. Now, every child starts off expressing themselves with color when they don't have the words, but artists are the ones that keep doing it. Nowadays, I mostly, but not exclusively, use digital art as my main media. Digital art meaning I use electronic devices and programs to create rather than treated graphite and lead-based paint. The computer is not making the art for me. Computers are incapable of creating art. I started drawing digitally about 10 years ago and only started doing it consistently for about 8 years. Since I want this channel to be a beacon of support for learning and a personal time capsule, I thought I'd tell the tale of exactly how I became a digital artist. Short answer, I got sick of buying sketchbooks and running out of colored pencils, so digital art seems the best course of action. No joke, that's pretty much how most of us start. A lot of digital artists my age were traditional artists for many years before we either decided it was the next best thing for our artistic career, or a family member bought it for us as a gift because it said drawing on it and you like drawing, right?
I was the former of the group.
Before I got really into it, I actually started dabbling in digital media with MS Paint on the family's Windows 98 computer using a mouse. Yes, long before laptops were readily accessible as they are now, if I wanted my art to transfer to the computer, I would sketch and line on the piece on a spare sheet, usually lined paper, and tape it to the computer screen where I turned the brightness way up and traced under the lines with the mouse, occasionally flipping it up and down to check my progress. My oldest post on DeviantArt was made with such a fashion, and many more after that. I have thought about trying that old technique again, just for the heck of it. If y'all be interested in seeing me absolutely lose my mind, sound off in the comments. It was only when I hit my teen years and my access to the internet was expanded did I even hear about graphics tablets. That whole time I thought all the speed paints I watched on YouTube were also done with mouse and prayers. Oh, the innocence of youth. It started as just comparing what my favorite artists used for their creations and looking up product reviews. I don't remember when or what exactly made me want to make the switch aside from I like the way digital art looks and enjoy the mess-free aspect of it. But when I did make that decision, my research went into overdrive. Tutorials, reviews, compare and contrast of brands, and not so subtly info dumping to my parents about what I learned. And after a few months, I was ready. Being a broke teenager and being taught financial caution, I didn't just dive into digital art with a Cintiq or a Wacom. $500 for a basic drawing tablet, my ass. My advice for anyone who wants to start anything new, whatever it may be, always start small and explore every option. At the time, the options for graphics tablets were very limited. I remember back then it was either Cintiq, Wacom, or Huion. Thankfully, now there's at least, 21 different brands of graphics tablets to pick from. I knew I specifically wanted a graphics tablet, not a screen tablet, for my first experience with digital art. The price jump between them alone was enough of a reason, but I also heard somewhere that graphics tablets were the industry standard, so I might as well get used to drawing without a screen. My first ever drawing tablet was a Huion H420. It had 3 buttons. And I loved that thing. I used it every day for hours on end. Between school and chores, of course. So much Warrior Cats fan art. I was still using MS Paint, as it was the base program that came with every computer at the time. And I got pretty good at it, if I do say so myself. I knew about other programs, of course. I basically grew up watching River Spirit and Reaper Neko speed paints, whom I think used Paint Tool Sci.
Editing Rune here. I made a mistake. Reaper Neko used MS Paint. They were a huge inspiration for me first starting out, and River Spirit used a combination of Paint Tool Sci and Photoshop way back in the day.
A lot of the artists I watched use Paint Tool Sci or Photoshop, but I stay with MS Paint because it was free. I'm not cheap, okay? I'm just broke. Again, back when I was first starting, there weren't a whole lot of options back then. Maybe there was, but I was still new to the internet and didn't know that there were online/browser options that you can use for free. You kids nowadays have it easy. All these options and wide varieties to pick from that cater to your needs. Back in my day, if we couldn't find what we needed, we just toughed it out and made do with what we had, and we were grateful. It took me about a year to find a free program I liked, and that was Fire Alpaca. I used this program for years, and I still have it on my computer, even though I don't use it as my main program anymore. I like the program. It has nice brushes. It does everything Psy does, but for free, and it has an onion skin mode for animation. You can animate with alpacas! You can't animate over music with Fire Alpaca, but it's at least a good place to start for practicing and understanding the basics of layers and movement. Later, I found another free program called MediBang Paint Pro. It's just like Fire Alpaca, but there's no onion skin mode option, and the brushes are more limited with MediBang, but it has a dark mode. Never again shall I be flashbanged by my own drawing program at 3 a.m. A small price to pay for salvation. And it also has a lasso eraser tool. I use that thing religiously. It saves so much time cleaning up sketches and line art. I firmly believe every program should incorporate the lasso eraser tool, if it isn't copywritten by MediBang, that is. MediBang is more focused on manga and comics rather than just general art, so that helps. I don't use their manga settings, but it's nice to know it's there. And that's kind of the end of the origin story. 10 years of chugging along, trying new things, and seeing what worked. I had, of course, used other tablets over the years. Their lifespan is only about 3 to 5 years. I stayed with Huion for a long time, and I'm still an advocate for the brand. They are a high-quality product, while still being very affordable. Currently, I use an XP pen, something or another, and it works just as well as any other tablet. Like I said in my 5-year streaming video, you don't need the fancy tech to make your videos, live streams, art, or anything you want to create. You could use a stick and a rock for art and still make a banging piece. This is why I wanted to make this video, to show where I started and where I am now. There has been some improvement over my 10 plus years of experience, but it had very little to do with what tools I was using. It all had to do with my dedication to the craft and remembering the #1 advice for any beginner. Thug it out until you're good. And that's all for this week. Be sure to like, comment what got you started in your respective craft, and subscribe to stay tuned. Something about a Ko-fi link, and we will meet again in the stars. Space out!